What's going on, guys? Welcome back to our Let's Play here on the Bedrock edition. Now, we have made the jump over the console again. Sorry in the last video if I sounded a little bit monotone and just a little bit down. No, I wasn't down at all. I was just sort of getting over a bit of a bug that sort of hammered me for a few days, but I'm pretty much well and fine now, and hopefully my voice doesn't sound too monotone as it did. When I was editing the last video, I was thinking, oh, should I even put this out? Because I sound like proper just depressed. I didn't really like it. But as we can see now, I'm over here at our future to be Penta spawner. Now, where you can see all the obsidian is where spawners are. We've got a skelly spawner, which is just over there. We've got our zombie one, which is over there. We've got double zombie one here and here. And then we've got our fifth zombie, words please. Our fifth zombie one is just up there in the air with the diorite underneath it, just to mark it out. The other ones are all cave spider spawners. Now, my plan is to... Basically, that bit of granite there is where my player's got to be for all three of the zombie ones here to be active. And then we need our second AFK player to be standing on that bit of granite. And then that will activate both that mob spawner and the skelly spawner. Now, what I need to do is build the actual spawning rooms for each one of these. But then I also need to figure out a way of bringing all of the zombies down to the same sort of feed-in tube. Because I actually want to run them through a optional converter, which can then change them into the drowned if I so wish them to be. Now, I've already designed the converter in my Redstone test world, so I know exactly how it should be built. And it works 100% fine. But it does mean that I'm going to have to try to figure out a way of getting all of the zombie spawners sort of pathing or fed down to the same sort of feeding tube, to then be fed into the converter and then be fed back up to a drop point, which will then drop them to the point where we want to kill them, which is going to be somewhere up near that granite block there. And so I need to figure out a way of getting the skellies around that. I'm thinking the difficult thing with the skellies is that it is only one block above where the bedrock is. So I'm actually going to have to bring this up a level, which means the skellies are going to have technically about 50% of the spawning room than what they should really have, which is a little bit, well, I won't say unfair, it's unfortunate, but unfortunately there's just no way of getting around that. It's just where the spawner is. I can't move the spawner with pistons. I really wish I could. Then I would just shift it upwards a few blocks, but unfortunately not, so going to miss out on about 50% of the spawn rate from this one. But we're going to have to bring this up by at least one level and then probably just take them straight up into a 9 wide soul sand elevator to then feed them into a 1x1 tube, because there's no way of getting 2 separate water streams in here. I may be able to actually, if I bring it up by 1 block. So let's just say, I'm hoping that they don't spawn by me taking away these torches, but say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's going to be one wider. So yeah, so we can actually wall this completely in. It's only need to be a 9x9. So all of this is going to be flooring, and then what we're going to want to do is get rid of that bit of obsidian. Thank you. And then that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Bring this across. Take away you. So we're going to have to bring the floor up regardless, just in order to sort out the water streams. Yep, we've got more cobblestone, that's fine. Do that. And then my plan is, because this spawner is now going to be sitting on the floor where the water is, it's going to be impossible for me to be able to get water streams to run from here and then around it. So I'm going to be building a partition wall going straight down the center. Please don't spawn. Let's back some torches around here quickly. This is the only mob spawner that I can see me having issues with sorting out, because it is so close to the floor. So if we run these, say, along there, and then our partition wall is going to have to come up by at least 4, so that's going to be 1, 2, 3, and a 4. And then this is going to run all the way to the back wall. So, come on, get lost. So then that way we can just run the water streams either side. And then like so. Yeah, so even by building this wall, we're still, once again, limiting the spawns that can happen with the skelly spawner. Which is really unfortunate because if I had the choice, all of these would be skelly spawners. Because bones are a lot more useful than rotten flesh. Although when you change the zombies into drowned, they do drop gold, which does help in making the potions in order to kill them in a roundabout way. But if we just whack some more torches up, let's get rid of these other bits of obsidian that's not needed. Skelly spawner? Yes, you are. Just double checking to make sure I've got the right one. Okay. Is that one? We can leave the other bits of obsidian there, that's fine. Don't go spawning anything, guy. That's 1, 2, 3. We could probably take that up by 1 more, so we quickly build a little staircase. I'm just going to build this first spawning room with you on camera, mainly because it's just going to be the one that I'm going to have issues with, so I thought I'd work it out with you guys. Now, if we then get rid of you guys here, and then if we just have water streams going from here, so that's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's going to be way too far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we want to bring in the wall here, 1, 2, 3. That's still going to be limiting our spawns. So yeah, if we take this wall back by 1, so about there. So that gives us 4 blocks on that side, and we can actually just bring this partition wall back by 1. So then that will give us our 8 wide, and then what we can then do is, rather than having a like 11 wide elevator that has to go up, which is a major pain to have to build, the water will then push them here. We can then have a water stream coming from that little gap there and from this little gap over here, feeding down to the center to this block here or this block here. Do you reckon it will go? I say this block here, and then we could break that. We can then have our soul sand here with a water elevator taking them up. So that way we can find them to 1 by 1. We're not losing out on too much of the spawning room because we've got 4 blocks either side, because you've still got this area over here that they'll be able to spawn. And then we've got the 4 blocks above, so it's literally just the spawning section below that we're going to be losing out on, which I'm okay with actually. It's actually turned out a little bit better than expected. But what I am going to do is I'm going to crack out and get the spawning room sort of built around each of our mob spawners. Now, don't hate me for doing this, but I am more than likely going to break that spider spawner and that spider spawner because they're just going to get in the way, to be honest with you. I'm going to keep them 2 there because they're already out of the way. I can't see them becoming an issue, and I can actually make something out of them at another point. But for today's episode, we're going to be concentrating on trying to get this Penta spawner up and running. And yeah, so let me crack out, get the spawning rooms done. I'll sort of lay out a rough grid of where I'm going to be sherpering all of the mobs to, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so time has gotten on and work has been done. I've now got the bog standard 9x9 spawning rooms for the zombie spawners. I've got a double spawning room, which is more than enough room for the double mob spawner, which is just below me. If we can get a quick look, hop down here. They're still all lit up. I was getting zombies still spawning as I was trying to build it, but each side is at least 4 blocks away from each side of the spawners, which means this maximum room that they can spawn in. If you want real maximum efficiency, I should have taken it out by another 1, because sometimes if they try to spawn on this very side of the last block here, then their spawn will be blocked by obviously the stone bricks. But we're going to have 5 spawners running all at the same time, so I think efficiency is pretty much as good as it's going to get like once the cap is reached, the cap's reached. And considering that we're underneath an ocean biome, it's the cap's going to be reached fairly quickly. I'm hoping to be able to get at least about 100 to 150 spawns at each time when I kill them. But that's me hoping. I didn't have to get rid of all of the spider spawners. We've got 2 of them still left there, the ones that were out of the way of everything else. If we can find somewhere safely to hop up. Ouch and ouch. So we've got them 2 there. I've left this one there as well because it was out of the spawning range of that room. The one on the other side of it I did actually have to take down because its area of spawning was actually overlapping with the spawning room for the zombie spawner. So I would have gotten spiders spawning within the actual zombie chamber, which is something that I really didn't want. These 2 I'm more than likely going to definitely do something with. That one was very simple. I dug out just the right amount of room to be able to fit that in there. The skelly one was a little bit more troublesome because it was so low down, but I'll show you what I've done with that quickly. So we've got like the sort of partition wall in the center. It's only going to have about 50% of the spawning area that it should really have, but there's not much else I could do about that. So we've got the water streams going down here, then they run in just to here. And I've had to double length this stream because where I was having the soul sand, which was just where that stone brick is there, I would have had to have a sign here to stop the water from flowing into it, because I would have had to stop the source blocks above the soul sand from flowing back out, otherwise the skellies would have just got stuck here. So I've had to sort of double extend that outwards, and then it pushes them into this bit. Now we're going to have to rely on one skelly bumping the next skelly into the actual soul sand for them to then get shot up into the elevator, which is going to go straight up there. So that's all happy days. Now the zombie ones, I'm just conforming all into one central point. So you've got double one coming out of here, and then you're going to have that single one dropping down here. They're not going to take any full damage because they're going to be falling into water. That's going to, words come on. That's then going to run round here, along here, onto the soul sand as well. I've done the ice leading here because we're going to have gaps where there is no water running on each edge. So I'm hoping that with enough really, come on with the words. I'm hoping that the water will give them enough momentum to then slide across the final block onto the soul sand to then be shot up into the elevator. And I'll show you where that's going to be going. I am trying to build the elevators and the sort of waterways out of glass so then I can view them. So if we get some glass blocks on us, how high is that? That's only 2 up, isn't it? So let's grab one more. And then on you. And then we'll take this all the way up. So these guys are then going to be shot all the way up to here. If we finally get there at some point today. Have I got more glass? Yes, I have. Da-da, 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 da-da. Okay, I went up. That's fine. So that then is going to have to wrap around there. We're going to have a water stream on the other side of that block just there, or just where that block is. I can hear drown directly above my head. That is then going to be shifting the zombies in this direction. This corner here is designed to hopefully get rid of the baby zombies. So where the water is pushing them, we've got the sign so then the water doesn't actually drop down into where I'm placing this lava now. Wow, them drowned really do make quite a lot of noise. So then the baby zombies should hopefully all be killed when they come up to this corner here. If that spreads, come on, one more, thank you. Beautiful, and then this is going to carry on to the sorter where... Well, it's not really a sorter, but it's the sort of conversion chamber that I'm going to be building. Now, the conversion chamber works on them dropping down through a set of sticky pistons. And that system is going to be able to be switchable to be put on and off. So I can choose whether to have the drowned or not. I'm hoping that they don't turn into drowned just by coming up this water elevator, because it is quite going to be, yep, it's going to be quite a large one. So they're going to be underwater for around about a good 5 to 6 seconds coming up that. So hopefully I get to choose whether to convert them or not. And then once they drop down through the conversion chamber, if they're not converted, they'll just carry on. Then they'll go back up another elevator, which will then be running across down to a drop point where that little platform is there. So I'm going to have to sort of crack on and get all of these waterways in place. I need to get a load more signs crafted up. I've got to place a lot more glass, a lot more water. And I'll bring you back when I'm actually building the sort of conversion chamber. But I'll build that after I've finished running the rest of the sort of waterways. Like I still need to bring up the skelly one, I think above this one, running across. Or I may run it across below and then back up and then over. So it's going to be a complete like spaghetti junction of sort of waterways and elevators and whatnot. But yeah, I'm going to crack on getting that done, and them drowned are quite disgusting sounding, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm going to crack on and get that done, and hopefully, and what is, I can hear, oh, there's spiders behind that wall. There's mobs everywhere around here. It's a joke. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to crack on and get all of this sort of done, get all the glass and stuff put in, and I'll bring you back once I'm ready to build the conversion chamber. Okay, now I've got most of the waterways done, pretty much. I've got all the zombie ones converging into a soul sand elevator, which then brings them up to this central point and swings them round to here. This is our baby killing chamber. Hopefully that gets rid of the baby zombies, otherwise I don't know what to do with them. That other column there is our skelly spawner one that actually wraps around the back end there and actually goes straight down to the skelly spawner. Now I've put glowstone underneath all of them because I'm hoping that there's a texture pack or a resource pack that will come out for console soon that will give us clearer glass. And being able to see all the zombies and skellies moving around as they spawn will be, I don't know, pretty nice to see from my area. So I'm going to have to do quite a lot of cosmetic work behind it to make it look fairly decent. But I think in the end it will look alright. But I thought I'd bring you back now for doing the sort of drowning conversion thing that I've built, or that I'm going to build with you. So the plan is that we're going to have 3 sets of sticky pistons on timers. Now the first set here is literally to stop new zombies from dropping into the drowning chamber. The second one is to break up sections of them. So obviously when the first one, we're going to have this first one and the third one down there on the same clock. And then this one's going to be on a secondary clock. So it will prevent new ones from dropping in while the first batch is drowning. And then the 2 top and bottom ones will open up, allowing the fresh batch of zombies to drop into the middle chamber. And then when this one then locks, the middle one will open, allowing that section of zombies to drop into the drowning chamber. Now the whole reason that we're doing this is because you don't want new zombies dropping into the drowning chamber and not having enough time in there to actually convert over. So if we actually get down to it and grab some bits and pieces that we need, we're going to want some sticky pistons first of all. And I've sort of mocked this all up and I've got some budget scaffolding up. You know what, we could actually use a little bit more leeway here for a second. So our first sticky piston can be on that block there. I don't think we're going to be able to get the angle on that one. We'll drop down to here. And hopefully, yep, that one could go there. We're going to want glass on them, which we've actually got on us. And so we want a glass block there. Hop back up here. It's proper awkward trying to work with it when you're sort of working on a contraption that is flowing downwards in Minecraft. So you're building it from the top downwards instead of the bottom upwards, which is a lot more complicated than I thought, which is how comes I've had to throw up this scaffolding. So do another block there. You can go onto there, and then you can go onto there. So that's all in line. So our glass will then be running down here like so, and then running down here like so. Just for cosmetic sake, let's say we want a block broken there, and a block broken, say, just about there. That'll be fine. And we'll whack some glowstone in there just to keep it nice and lit up so we can see what's going on. So can we reach the side? There we go. Nice. And then our glass can carry on running down. And we're going to have to try to get that glass from up there to run down also. So you can come out by one, you, and then we're going to want this to come straight down. So let's hop back down here. And yeah, one bad thing about building everything out of glass is that it tends to get a little bit hard to see where stuff is. So let's create ourselves a little bit more breathing room here. And drop down safely there. Bring this down. And that is our third piston. So when that one is retracted, we're going to want a, let's say a sign. We don't want stone bricks on us. We want a sign, please. Thank you. So if I'm correct, is that one? So where are you? So it's not that block, it's that block. So we want a sign just here, and then we're going to have a water source where this glowstone is, and that is literally where the heads of the zombies are going to be once that sticky piston is sticking out. And then we're going to want some glass back on us to bring this down. Nice. So break you back a little bit. Hop on down to that. And then we can bring this down to here. So that's all in place now, and then we can get our ice to put our water source block in, like so. Now you don't have to worry if you're building this that the zombies are going to be taking full damage before they get to the drop, where you're obviously going to want to drop them from the right height so they're only a one-hit kill, which my one just about is. It's a 20 block drop, and that's as high as I can get from our AFK platform, because directly above that is the ocean. So it should really be 21 to 21.5 blocks, but we are quite limited on room on how high we can actually take them. So that's our water source block. Did we even break that? I don't think we did we? There you go. Thank you. So that's all in place. Now what I need to get done is I actually need to link all of these pistons up to a hopper clock. So I'm going to quickly build a hopper clock off camera, because trying to build it in this tight quarters is going to be a lot of fiddling about for me. And trying to do that on camera is going to be a bit of a nightmare, not because I feel like I'm under a time restraint, but it means that I can make sure that everything's done correctly if I've got more than enough time to sort of go over it a few times. So yeah, I'll see you back after I've built the hopper clock. Alright then guys, I think I've managed to get our hopper clock system in place. Now let me explain what's going on in this absolute mess of redstone. First of all, let's grab some torches, because we're going to have to light up this area a little bit. So on my hotbar, so torch can go there. Just need to make sure that scaffolding can now come down. It would help if I had a shovel on me. My inventory is such an absolute mess at the moment. Okay, so let's get rid of that for a second, just so that we can see a little bit more clearly. So you've got the standard hopper clock. Obviously it's not running at the moment because I've got no items in it. I've made it just like a double layered one instead of having it side by side. It works the exact same way. That the comparator reads the items inside the hopper, whichever side's got the most items in, side to side it will go, and then it will power it. Now I've figured out that it is exactly about 2.5 stacks worth of items that we're going to need in it for the drowning, because it works out to about 55 to 60 seconds with 2.5 stacks, and that's about the amount of time that it takes for a zombie to turn into a drowned zombie. But for imitation's sake, how can we activate this? We're going to need a couple of bits on us actually. Ugh. Slime blocks are so slow to walk on. Okay, so let's first of all get rid of all of the redstone that we don't actually need on us. Clear up some room, so all of that can go away. Is there anything else on me? Nope. Let's grab a lever. You know what? We've got like 3 stacks of them. We can use that as our item as well. Sweet. So, you can't place levers on hopper. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, that's just the Java version that they changed then. Poor Java people. Okay, so that's our 1 stack. We're going to want half a stack of views. So, yep. So, okay, so we're just going to want to make sure that we've still got 31 of these things still on us. 31. Is that right? Oh, no, I've still got 64 odd on me. You can go in there. And U6 can also go in there. Okay, so that's around about a minute to a minute and a half it will take for that to actually work its way through. But as that's going, it will switch side to side. I've got the slime blocks here, so then I'm able to actually turn off the entire thing from down below. And what happens is that's connected to a redstone torch tower directly underneath this block here. So once it switches on, these slime blocks will kick up, preventing any signals from going to any of the sticky pistons, which will make them all retract, which means the zombies can then just fall straight through and just carry on. That's in case we don't want them to be converted. So that's our sort of safety system. I've also put in another bit of redstone here, which runs around from our redstone torch tower, which is just underneath there. I'll show you in a second. And that will actually turn off our hopper clock as well. So whenever you build hopper clocks or timers in Minecraft with redstone, you always want a way to be able to turn them off, because you don't want to end up having hundreds of clocks running in hundreds of different chunks all at the same sort of time, because it will end up just causing lag, and lag is not nice. It's not fun to deal with, especially like I've got at the man cave at the moment, which is why it's been quite pleasant to be working around here. I've got a couple of mobs running around at the bottom. But, so the hopper clock sort of runs, and this first signal here is just the middle sticky piston, and then that will allow new mobs to drop in. So then they'll sort of build up into this little chamber here. Now, as soon as that kicks over, which we should see just about now, there you go. Then the second two sets, so you've got the top one up here now kicked out, and the bottom one down there is kicked out, which means that group of zombies that have built up are able to drop into that chamber, then converting into drowns. And then the new ones that are coming into the system can only fall onto this sticky piston, preventing them from dropping into the chamber, sort of getting half drowned as opposed to being in there for the full minute to minute and a half. Which is the way this works. It's a pretty simple system, but it's just extremely awkward to build in this version, or this sort of concept, considering that you're building it going downwards. Now, if you were to build it going along, my first design was to have it in a sort of corridor waterway like that, but the collision boxes of zombies, when they're side by side, they nudge each other quite a lot, and they will stop each other from going forward anymore, which means you'll only have a certain amount get stuck in there, and then the water streams in the section before will start causing the ones beforehand to start drowning when you don't want them to. And with it just going downwards, when zombies drop into one another, then they all sort of just stack up into the same block, so it's no issue with it going downwards. And also, if you're building it, you've got to make sure that there's at least a 3 block drop. So you've got our 1, 2, and then 3, and then you've got our piston. And that is because with the water mechanics now, zombies sink to the bottom of the water rather than bobbing along the top of it, which means if it's only too high, the zombies' heads collision box will actually prevent other zombies from dropping into the chamber. So you have to make sure it's 3 high. So each one of my chambers are 3 high, well, 3 blocks away from each other. And then that sort of works its way down to this section here. Get rid of your dirty scaffolding. And then it ends up just going straight down to this bottom end tube here. So they'll all get converted in that water stream, just like that sort of kick out does. They'll sit there with a head in the water, convert. Their armor will go flying everywhere. I'm not really too fussed about collecting any of that garbage, because hopefully with the amount of zombies that this thing should be kicking out, we should be able to get enough iron and gold to cover our needs for anything that we need it for. apart from beacons, I've had to move my beacon about 7 times now. I've moved it away from here. It's now sitting in my ender chest, ready to be placed at our next location, which I've yet to decide where we're going to be mining out or need a beacon up and running. But having it here was a dream come true, because first of all I dug out that area over there by accident by hand without a beacon, and that area, just too high, took me probably the better part of about 2.5 to 3 hours without a beacon. With a beacon, I had this entire area done in about 7 to 8 hours. It weren't too bad. And I've got an absolute ton of resources from it. But yeah, this is our conversion chamber all done and dusted. It's actually quite late in the night now for me. Quite late in the night? Yeah, I said that right. So yeah, as I was saying, this is our redstone torch tower for when we want to turn it off. I'm going to be running a redstone line going to this torch tower, but just to give you a demonstration, if we were to punch out that one, so send a signal to that to turn it off, what would happen is that all of them pistons will now retract. This slime blocks will then stick up, preventing any signals from coming from this redstone block to either side. And then you'll also have the signal coming from, I do believe, is it running from here? Oh, I need a bit of redstone dust there. Well, that's what I'm missing to turn the clock off. So let me hop down here. Can I get some redstone? And we want it to be there. And then that will just prevent the clock from carry on ticking. So it will send a signal directly to this side, fully powering this piston. So it doesn't matter about the items transferring back and forth. Although that is still technically a clock running in your world, it is nowhere near as laggy as having the entire thing going back and forth. If I really wanted to turn it off completely, I could quite easily say get rid of that, and let's see what we can do. We could probably just divert this signal coming round, run it around the back here and run it up to the hopper and actually power the hopper to prevent the items from transferring back and forth. But the way that this is done, I think it's more than enough adequate just to prevent the system from carrying on running. But as you can see, with that turned off, all of our pistons are now completely retracted, allowing the zombies to fall through and avoid conversion, which is what we was aiming for. So I'm going to go and tear the rest of all this ugly scaffolding down, tidy up the little bits and pieces that need to be tidied up. I'm probably going to finish cracking out the rest of these waterways up to the drop section, sort out the drop section, just so that we can end this this episode off with a demonstration, because I would really like to be able to show you it all fully working and the sort of rates we get. And I'm not going to be able to do that if I make any more cuts before I get to that point, because I think we're running on a good 20 to 25 minutes as it is. So yeah, I'm going to get the rest of that cracked out properly first thing tomorrow morning, and I'll bring you back when I'm more wide awake. So yeah, I will see you shortly. Alright then guys, now I've actually finally got all the waterways done. It's actually the following evening now, and that's because I actually went off. I got a little bit bored doing all of the waterways and finishing off the tunnel. Like, the zombie ones come down there, along here, back up there. It then comes up and wraps around that corner, and I've got a little section there which can also kill the baby zombies should they not die at the first intersection. So we've just got fire wrapping around there where the zombies come round. Hopefully if there are any babies left by this point, they'll just be pushed and bumped into the actual fire. Now, we've already got the skelly spawning. I've got my second account logged in. He's just standing over there on the AFK spot. And I just need to go around now and knock off all the torches of all the zombie spawners. So we've got this one behind us, the one that we're directly over, and then we've got that one over there. So I'm going to do that in a very quick little speedy up bit. Alright, now you can tell by the sheer amount of noise that the skellies and zombies are now all running in full force. And as you can see, we've got a constant loop of zombies incoming. I've not seen any baby zombies, otherwise they'd be coming out attacking me right now. Thank God for that. So far so good. And as you can see, what's happening though is where they are coming up to the soul sand elevators, they do tend to get a little bit stuck until one comes along and pushes them. So there are a few points here and there, like the points down there, you'll end up having 3 or 4 zombies stuck at the intersection. God, these guys are loud. And then you'll have one stuck there, and where else have we got elevators? I don't think we've got any other elevators anywhere, but we've got the skellies coming in from the left, the zombies coming in from the right. And the zombies aren't getting changed at the moment, so I've actually got it switched off. That's something that we're going to have to give a test of in a second. So what we can, well, I think one's taking suffocation damage in there at the moment. They are coming in very quickly though. There's another 2, 3. There's loads more in the works coming in there. Right, you've got a good 5 or 6 of them built up there already. Skelly still coming in, so it is just like a constant stream of them. Now, unfortunately, the drop height that I've got them at is only 20 blocks, so when you're using just your hands, it takes 2 hits to actually kill one of them. But it's hard to hit the same one more than once at the moment to give you a demonstration. But otherwise, it is only just 1 hit with any weapon that you fancy repairing. There we go. Oh my god, how can we quieten this look like? Yeah, we've got a splash potion on us actually. So let me switch this converter on, and then we'll see if that starts working. So the next batch of zombies that are coming in and then getting stopped just up there, they'll build up there until the timer goes off to let that batch through, and what will happen is that we'll get batches of drowns coming in. So they'll sort of build up there. Let's see if we can't just get rid of these guys, shut them up. Well, it just seemed to anger a lot of them. Come on. I need to sort out a massive item sort of collection system as well, because this is just getting a little bit insane at the moment. Trying to kill them as quick as they're dropping, just to quiet them down, because I want to see if our drowned conversion change is going to work. It should work. I've tested it in a creative world, the sort of chamber that I've got. Okay, now it's got a little bit quieter. Oh, thank God for that. Okay, so I need to make sure, I'm not sure if they are getting converted yet or not. So the first batch has then dropped into this secondary drop point. Now you can see that they're taking a little bit of fall damage there, and that is going to be negated by the fact that they're going to be drowned after that section. So that fall damage isn't going to count. So when they drop down here, they're not going to instantly die. Come on, we need this timer to hurry up so I can see if they change or not. We'll be able to see when they change, because they need to get let out of that little section, dropped into the next section down below. And then when they all change at the same time, all of their weapons and armor will go flying everywhere out of there. Go away, guys. Come on, timer. Sometime today, please. I think it's working on 1.5 minutes. But there seems to be a lot of them building up there. Okay, there we go. So now they've all dropped into the drowning chamber. They're all doing their weird little vibration thing, which means that we should be able to see them changing. We've still got loads of zombies incoming as well. So all of the spawners are active from this area here. That guy over there has the other 2 spawners active, so we've still got skeletons slowly coming in. Now, I did do the skellies and test them just by themselves to see sort of rates we got from them. And as I thought, it's around about 50% of the usual rates from a normal XP spawner. I want to see these guys actually change. Go away. Come on. Should be any second now. It takes around about 50, and there goes all the armor. So they've all converted now. And then the next section of zombies is being held up the top, which means the timer should then let them out any second. Come on, timings. I could probably lower the timings then, can't I, by about 5 or 6 seconds. But wow, that is a massive bunch of incoming drowned zombies. And there is still a couple of babies in the works there. So I'm sort of excited to see what happens with them. But we've got all the drowned now working their way through. Should we ever want to get some gold or the Nautilus shells or tridents? One of them did die on impact there. We've got one normal zombie that obviously got stuck in the works on his way round. But the rest of them should all be drowned. Just want to make sure that none of them are actually dying on impact. So far, so good. They're all making their gargling noise. I'm just really waiting to see if any baby zombies make it through. Like, the babies got knocked out of that section there, so they obviously made it past our first death corner. But I don't expect them to make it past the second and third corners there. But yeah, it's they're building up at quite a speed, and as you can see, our next batch of zombies are now getting drowned. So all of their armor should go flying any second. And then soon, well, very shortly, I'm already starting to see the frame rate drop. You probably won't be able to tell, but moving around I can instantly tell. Because each section they're building up at least around about 30 or 40 zombies. So that next lot is going to be drowned. Come on. Want to see the armor go flying. And no. Oh, almost. But there goes all their armor anyway. So they're all drowned. That's going to be our next batch, and this is our next lot of zombies. So I'm not sure if I've got any more splash potions of healing anywhere. But it's going to start getting very, very laggy. So do mind me while I sort out my inventory and see if we've got any some splash potions up here. As you saw in that little speedy up bit, I got battered by endermites spawning from the ender pearls. Okay, so the babies are actually dying. I've just seen a couple of them dying there. Let's hop back down here. Get our splash potion of healing. Hopefully this should take care of the majority of them. There we go. XP, yeah. Okay, and then we've got the Nautilus shells. We've got like just a couple of double chests down here, but it's going to be chock-a-block full of absolute garbage at the moment. So, yeah, it seems to be working pretty well. I'm going to take off the drowning section. So now we're just going to have an absolute ton of zombies come into the system. They're all going to work their way through. I'm actually just going to sit here and kill an absolute bunch of them. Get the drops that I need to get, and then I'm going to create a storage system. Oh my god, they're so loud. Is there a way of turning off hostile mob sounds on Xbox? Audio. Let's just turn that down for a second. There we go. Oh, that's better. So yeah, I'm going to build like a massive storage system to go over here. I'll probably have like 3 or 4 double chest sections just for rotten flesh, because we're going to be getting absolute tons of it, and it's an easy way of getting emeralds trading with the clerics. So we want to keep hold of that, and then we'll keep hold of the bones, gold, iron, probably the arrows as well. But everything else I'm probably just going to avoid. Oh yeah, the Nautilus shells, the like thing that I've got in my actual hand. Yeah. Oh, why is it you can put that in your offhand? That really bugs me. Yeah, so it all seems to be working out pretty well. I'm quite happy with it. The drowning chamber definitely works. And we're now getting our normal zombies dropping in. Happy days there. I've got to keep an eye on it to make sure no babies make it through, so that I know... Oh, that one died for some reason. Oh, that's because the ones that I dropped down and turned off the section, which means a few of these that are dropping in now will more than likely die. because they took the 1.5 hearts damage by dropping there. But yeah, it's not much of an issue when you just switch between the drowned and not drowneds. So far we're getting a constant stream, so I'm quite happy with the results of it. But I think that's going to do it for me today, and I've got a lot of work to do off camera. I'm hopefully going to get the cosmetic sort of side of this done as well, whilst being over here. But I've got to figure out a way of switching off the spawners in the meantime, and I can't be asked to go putting torches back in. But yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and I'll hopefully see you all in the next one. Bye bye.